the top headlines that we're tracking from the world of commodities. But now let's shift focus to liquor. Now, liquor prices are expected to rise from the next month onwards in the state of West Bengal, since the state government has hiked excise duty rates. Now, what's going to be the impact? How is the industry viewing this development? For that, we're now joined by Vinod Giri, the Director General at CIABC from Delhi. Hi, Vinod. Thank you so much for joining us today, and very good afternoon to you. On the back of these reports that are suggesting liquor prices in West Bengal could rise from the next month onwards, for a retail consumer, if you could tell us, just break it down for us, how much are prices expected to rise in terms of rupees and, for a bottle of different sizes. So what's going to be the impact on the retail consumer?
Hi, thank you. And first of all, let me correct one thing. I am the head of the Brewers Association of India.
Right.
I used to be the head of CIBC earlier, but that's one correction I want to make. See, what in West Bengal we are seeing is more of a general trend in the pricing corrections, which are happening across the country. The way it's basically in terms of within the alcoholic beverage industry, there are certain taxation corrections they are doing. So in West Bengal, once we see this tax increase, which is coming up from the 1st December, I don't think consumer prices are going to be very significantly different. We'll see some correction happening, the IMFL, what we refer to, which is the whiskey, gin, rum, these products. I think these prices will go up by around 4 to 6%, not more than that. So that is the kind of impact we will see. So more than the impact per se, I think what's important is the correction which is happening in the taxation anomaly which was there. So typically all over the world, the principle is alcohol is taxed and not the water in the product. So we historically, we had in many states in India a situation where we used to put a tax on a bulk liter basis or ad valorem flat rate basis, which meant we were taxing the alcohol as well as the water at the same rate. Now we are seeing many states are correcting that. There is a certain revenue pressure on the state governments, and especially when there's GST changes in the recent times, some governments are coming under pressure. Alcohol is their primary source of revenue, which is under their own control. So they are looking for revenues, and this restructuring of taxation on alcohol is something that the governments have started more and more looking towards. And I'll just mention what happened in Maharashtra. We talk about the consumer impact. So in Maharashtra, the tax on the liquor was increased by about 50% with effect from 1st of September. So we have tracked the months after that. So the September and October, these 2 months, the government revenues have gone up by nearly 16%. So the government is benefiting. I think this is more of a readjustment happening within the alcohol beverage industry, and I don't think it's going to have a really significant impact on the market. The beer is now getting the lower alcoholic beverage products are getting a little more preference in terms of taxation, which is more in line with what the WHO recommends and what the international taxation principles are, which is the higher the alcohol, higher the taxes. So,
right. Mr. Giri, all right, we stand corrected on that. Now, you're now part of the Brewers Association of India. Apologies for that. But, taking this discussion forward, while you did point out that the impact is not going to be very significant, but does the timing of this increase bother you in any way, given we're just around the wedding season, Christmas and New Year just around the corner? So does this timing impact the industry in any way?
So timing we have to see from 2 points of view. One is the market point of view, one is the government's point of view. So the easier one is the government point of view. The GST changes have had impact on the government revenues, and West Bengal was one of the states where actually the GST collection was down by -1% in the period after the changes in GST. So from their point of view, there's an urgency. They have to generate as much revenue as they can before the year closes in March, and so they have a time limitation. From industry point of view, as I mentioned, the impact is not going to be so much that the liquor sales will be impacted. So I think it's more of a correction which is happening in the market. And I do not think that the festive season demand is going to be adversely impacted. I think a positive change would be on beer, because beer had been struggling in the for the last few months in the state, also because the weather was not very kind to any, the any product that you drink cold. We had excessive rains, a long monsoon season. So I think beer will see an upswing in the coming months. And also, I don't see any adverse or negative impact on the demand for the liquor.
Uh, very interesting discussion for a Friday weekend just about the car, around the corner. Just one last question, Mr. Giri. Could this set as a, could this be a precedent for other states? You were just pointing out that the states are under, some bit of a pressure. So do you think more states are going to follow?
So we have seen in the recent time, four states already do such changes or what they call the restructuring in the taxation, and a term which I also tend to agree with. So Maharashtra has done it. Then we have West Bengal has done it. Meghalaya has done it. Assam did few months ago. So we are seeing states are doing because they are just looking for the ways to boost their own revenues and reduce their dependence on the GST. And this correction, restructuring of taxes looks like a viable option to them without disrupting the market so much. They can increase their revenues. So I think more states would do that, and that's the trend. And also, let's bear in mind that somewhere the states also have to balance the goals of public health and the revenue generation. And so, if they can shift, nudge consumers towards the milder alcoholic beverages without impacting their revenues or adding to revenues, I think they would do that because that serves both the goals.
Point taken, Mr. Giri. Thank you so much for joining us today and helping us with that perspective. Most states likely to
Thank
follow
you.
suit. That's the word coming in. On that note, we'll let you go.